Having a penis is just having a penis. It's just a body part.
We are obsessed with sex differences, that we are obsessed with whether someone has female or male genitalia.
Well, you know, it's like eggs, sperm, penises, vaginas. It's like two kinds of bodies, two kinds of categories. It's like, you know, duh.
Geschlechter gibt es nicht mehr als 2. Und schon gar nicht 60 Geschlechter, wie Facebook das anbietet.
We're stuck in this classificatory system that promises us the truth. It promises us to make things clear, and then it fails. The definitions are designed to fail.
So that's how I'm understanding the gender binary, as a regime of circumscription and violence.
Am I really just a girl, or am I something else? I think the term gender is pretty outdated at this point.
Find me the person who doesn't feel some friction. Find me the man that's like, yes, I am masculine in every single way.
It's like 1 minute I'm like happy and I'm chilling, I'm feeling masculine, and then I have a little girl growing inside of me.
También es importante inspirar a otras nuevas generaciones que están en busca de su identidad, de luchar por sus sueños.
When people talk about a gender-neutral future, I say we should go a step further and talk about a gender-irrelevant future.
I'm actually pretty nervous. I've never felt this nervous before in my life, so. I've been dreaming about this since I was really little, so it's long awaited. I was always reading princess books, so I love the idea of dresses and big events. Can I sit here?
Yes. And we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And you want something natural, something medium, or something dramatic?
Medium.
That's what I was thinking too.
A quinceañera is like a transition from a teenager turning into an official woman in the Mexican heritage tradition. My role model would be my mom. She's very hardworking. She loves to do everything, tries to help everyone as best as she could, and that to me it really shows what a woman can do.
Now I'm gonna cry. I'm glad I'm crying before the makeup and not after, but it's just an important step in a child who is now becoming a woman. You're no longer that little girl that's gonna run around with dolls or play outside with your friends, and you're now a lady. You're gonna worry about how you look and your hair and what you're gonna wear, and just for whatever reason you start to act different.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God! You look so pretty!
The big question, of course, is
What does make someone male or female?
What's a boy? What's a man? What's a girl? What's a woman?
What does it mean to belong to one of those categories? What does it mean to be seen as one or the other, or as something else entirely?
Why do we even have this system of sex and gender, or a binary of male, female, man, woman? Where did it come from? How did it happen that it took over the world? It's a big question, but it's a really important question that actually does have answers.
Da kommt auch die Biologie ein bisschen um die Ecke. Bei fast allen Säugetieren, weil die Befruchtung im Weibchen stattfindet, die Schwangerschaft im Weibchen stattfindet, die Geburt und dann die Stillzeit, das sind alles spezialisierte weibliche Handlungen. Das Männchen trägt also sehr wenig bei. Das bedeutet, dass schon seit ungefähr 200 Millionen Jahren da eine Tendenz stattgefunden hat, dass Männchen und Weibchen separat unterwegs sind. Aber das hat natürlich Konsequenzen über die Zeit. Und das führt also dazu, dass es auf der Verhaltensebene zu ausgeprägten Geschlechterunterschieden kommt. Das bedeutet nämlich, dass die Männchen dann stärker werden, eher gewaltbereit sind und die Weibchen eher sich für Pflege interessieren. Und das ist durch über Jahrmillionen Evolution ist das irgendwie in die Psychologie veranlagt geworden.
You know I'm not putting salt and pepper in this, right?
Yeah, no.
Trust
I
me, bro.
suck at this game, man.
Trust me, bro. How many sausages do you want?
Like 2.
2?
From since
I just made 10 sausages and you want 2. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now that we're getting to 6 months, I feel sick. I'm telling you,
Okay,
I be
that's
feeling
different.
sick. And that 4 o'clock in the morning stuff, it's like weird.
right? Yeah, because you awoke this morning like really early.
4 o'clock, yeah.
And you and the dogs. It was just crazy.
Okay, here we go. My name is Chris, fully Christopher. I'm 36, and my pronouns are he, him, sir, Mr., buddy. Anything masculine, my pronouns. So I am 6 months pregnant right now. This is a long journey. Took a while, but I'm here. It's a lot, but we're here.
Okay, great. My name is Sade, but I go by China, and I am a trans woman, and my pronouns are she and her and ma'am.
I want to sit here. I'm gonna sit here.
Sheesh.
You should
Okay,
think about
pop that down. Your breakfast is about to be served.
Thank you. This is good. Thank you. Smells like
very welcome.
McDonald's.
Smells like McDonald's. That is horrible. That is not good. That is not okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna eat this bread. I feel queasy just looking at it.
Huh?
The eggs are delicioso, though.
Are you really about to pick at something you clearly said you wanted?
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I know what's wrong with you. You're pregnant.
She's gonna get real active now.
Sorry. Oh, I feel her kicking all the way down here. She's just right here.
Being transgender doesn't stipulate anything in life, including being a father, a mother, having a family. To have a family is something that everybody should have. You know, a family is something we all want at a certain point in our lives. And this is why I'm going through my journey. It's because I want to have a family. I want to be somebody's dad, biologically. And this is how I'm going to make it happen. You know, this is how I'm going to make it happen.
It's just crazy. Like, it's a lot of things. Like, are you serious? Like, you let me have a baby with you. Like, it's a lot of qualities about this man that I love.
I was always happy being a girl, and then it was a year and a half ago, maybe a bit longer, and I went, am I really just a girl or am I something else? And so that was on my mind for a couple of months, and then since it was just nonstop, that's the only thing I would think about. It was like, I don't think I'm just a girl anymore. What do I do about this? I got you, man, I got you. I am Means Lutman, I'm 10 years old, and I live in Toronto. I would say I'm either a boy or... Yeah, I'm a boy.
Hello, parents and Owen. Parent and Owen. I did it. Catch fire. Do it. Okay, I think that's good. I'll sit here next to all the food. You, and you, and you.
Memes, don't leave me hanging.
I love you guys.
Memes was a rather feminine child. We had no kind of inkling that, gender curiosity was going to be coming down the pike for Memes or for our family. Memes was very typically female, girly, feminine, gravitated towards me, affectionate. When he was 8, he wanted to cut his hair short. And it was kind of a, girls don't have short hair, and I want to show the world that girls can have short hair. And it was very kind of like rebellious. It just kind of opened something up in his heart that felt like, oh, this is who I really am. He came to me and said, "What would you think if I told you that I was actually a boy?" Really? Like, we're down with non-binary. Like, that's cool. We get that. But like, a boy? But you're my daughter, and you're a girl, and like, you're so feminine. And so it was really confusing for me. And I thought, well, are you sure you're not just gay? Like, you want to explore more of your masculinity. Like, are you old enough to actually be making big decisions like this, asking us to, change your pronouns, to tell the school, you want to go buy a new name, okay, but what if this is, like your phase with wearing mismatched socks or, having a wacky haircut or something? I think it's pretty natural that we were thinking, is this just a phase?
אז אני רועי מלכי, ואני עוד מעט כבר בן 13, היום הטקס של הבר מצווה. אני מאוד חושב שזה טקס שכן מעיד על זה שאני בערך מתבגר.
We think of gender as this intensely personal thing. Oh, it's whatever is in your heart or your soul or your brain. When in reality, it's this social, historical system of classifications. Part of that riddle for us is sort of coming to understand how our intensely personal experience actually fits in almost like a puzzle piece into a much, much, much larger puzzle that actually involves everyone.
זה בבוקר ואת הכבש השני תעשה בין 40 ועשירית העיפה סולת למנחה ולולה בשמן.
In my view, I think gender is a process. I think gender is gendering. Gender, and particularly manhood and womanhood, are lenses that we are given not only to see ourselves, but also to see everything in the world. It's a thing that is happening constantly between individuals and our state, between individuals and corporations and other institutions. It's a continual process of defining and regulating people on the basis of these ideas of what men and women are and what they ought to be. And when you're in that process, you can't step outside of it and see it from outside of it because it is everywhere. There is no opting out of that process. But when you're stuck within that process, you do have the option sometimes of moving between various places within it.
Oh God. There's so many. Like, Jesus, like, I'm gonna show you guys where it all began. This is the very first one. This is, how many? Wow, 6 weeks pregnant. 6 weeks. Look at that little bean. A diamond ring is what the nurse said. She's about the size of a diamond ring. Then the diamond ring turned into a baby. Oh, look, you can see a little cooter.
No way. I gotta cover up her choo-choo, but it says female. Between her legs is a split.
Yeah, that's how we knew.
Anything that a woman would do to get herself pregnant is the same process that I went through. I didn't do any artificial insemination. I didn't do any in vitros. I pretty much took it to the ancient days. Regular intercourse, woman to man.
So, these are some of the things that we have for Carly. She's gonna look really cute in these. I already know. I was banking on a boy, okay? I wanted a son so bad. So when I found out it was a girl, I was like really confused and like what? Like, I have a lot of girls in my family, okay? Like everybody has girls. And then I transitioned to a girl. So it's like, everybody was just thinking I was gonna have a boy. It has her name on it, and it's like diamond dollars, you can see it. It would go like this on her shirt, and she would, like that.
I want to experience like all of the girly things with her. I want to be there, you know. I would love taking my daughter to the nail salon. I would love taking my daughter shopping for her prom dress. I would love that experience. I would love to have a daughter. I just want her to be happy and know that she has options, and, you know, if she doesn't like the girly stuff, hey, you know, I'm here for you. I trust me, I'm here for you, you know.
Hey, you can't do that. You'll trip him. Come on.
Good morning, Baltimore.
Basically, when people see me and Chris, and people who don't know and people who do know, some people can tell, some people can't tell, but us having a baby, they're always gonna question, what, how, what?
And you know, like, your homeboys that are usually hanging out at the store, hanging out in the park, and they just don't speak to me anymore. 1 minute they're like, hey, what's up? You know, like, what's up, boss? And, you know, and all of that. And then, like, when they see me pregnant now, it's like, what? I was associating with, you know, like, I thought that was a homeboy.
Sitting on the couch. I'm sitting.
You know,
I confused my family at that point. When I decided to have children, my family became confused because they're so used to me being a guy. My grandmother, she's like, what are you trying to do? Like, why are you confusing us? Like, you want us to believe that you're a man, you want us to live this lifestyle, you want us to understand your lifestyle as a male, but now you're out here and now you're pregnant. You know, so what am I supposed, how do I understand that? Go. And now it's like she, her. Oh, you're a mother. It brings tears to my eyes. It really does. It brings tears to my eyes.
I do a lot of animating and character design and drawing. My favorite character that I've made is Ursula. They're very big. That's them. Ursula is either gender fluid or genderqueer. I'm just looking for more reasons for people to see, oh wait, it's not just boy and girl. I think the term gender is pretty outdated at this point. I kind of think of it as a box. There's not much room to move around and figure out what you want to be without just being pushed back into it. There's so many more things than just boy and girl, and to limit those as weird and boy and girl as the default and the standard, I think is just a bit outdated. like school. I'm still too scared to go into the gender neutral or boys' bathroom. I get ridiculed whenever I go in there. But when I go into the girls' washroom, they ridicule me and they call me a pervert for trying to just go to the washroom. Usually it's younger people or even people just my age. It stings. And I know I can't go into the boys' washroom either. It's just really difficult to try to pick between how do I want to be ridiculed today?
Pues sí, por ser mujeres vamos a estar en la cocina, obligación de las mujeres. Tener listo el desayuno, la comida, la cena, para cuando nuestros maridos lleguen del trabajo.
Mi hija pues se encarga de lavar los trastes, la otra a limpiar o a lavar la ropa, yo a hacer la comida, a cuidar a los niños. Y yo creo que así mismo mis cuñadas así tienen cada su obligación. Eso quería opinar.
Pues sí, somos más fuertes en el hogar, pero no en el monte.
El hombre, pues, su trabajo es el trabajo rudo, pues, como siempre. Pues las mujeres, pues, en el hogar, pues, su trabajo y en lo que puedan en otros lugares, pues, pero que no sean tan pesados, pues. Pues si se pudiera, pues las mujeres que fueran al campo, nosotros quedamos en la casa.
¡Eso sí se puede!
Pues, para ver cómo reaccionaría.
Bueno, aquí como que se tiene el pensamiento de que un hombre, ¿cómo se podría decir? Que ayuda en cosas sencillas que puede hacer una mujer, ya lo llaman o lo etiquetan como femenino.
Cuando hacen algo, dicen mandilón.
Jede Gesellschaft lebt etwas vor und schreibt etwas vor. Und erzieht dann die Kinder in diesem Bild. Und das Bild wird internalisiert. Und diese Einflüsse sind bei uns viel, viel stärker als bei den Affen. Es ist nie Natur oder Kultur. Es ist immer beides. Das bedeutet, dass die Biologie zwar vorschreibt, was den Spielraum ist, aber was da dann realisiert wird, das ist sehr bedingt von kulturellen Einflüssen. Es ist noch nicht mal natürlich bei Menschen zu sagen, dass es Machos gibt, unbedingt. Ja, das ist Teil des Spielraums. Wir können Machos hervorrufen, indem wir Männer so sozialisieren. Aber der gleiche Mann kann etwas ganz anderes werden.
Yo soy Nelson Morales, soy fotógrafo, artista visual y soy originario de Unión Hidalgo, Oaxaca. No soy hombre, no soy mujer, estoy en medio. Yo me reconozco como un mushe. He retratado a la mayoría de la comunidad mushe de aquí. En el Istmo de Tehuantepec tenemos como la libertad de no ir por un camino y quedarnos en medio como un tercer género. Tanto la comunidad mushe como la misma sociedad para aprender a vivir y convivir juntos. Creo que desde tiempos antiguos esto ya era aceptado por las familias y por la sociedad. Nosotros somos indígenas zapotecas. La cultura zapoteca es una cultura milenaria, fuerte. Zapoteco es él, ella è música. Lo que quiero saber, lo que quiero indagar en estos personajes. Y lo que a mí también me muevo, porque también dentro de todos esos retratos, pues también hay mucho de lo que yo escondo dentro de mí y lo muestro en las fotografías.
One of the things that I hear a lot from people who, want to treat trans as something new is just like, well, yes, we recognize that gender is changing now, but it's like, it's against nature. I mean, there's always been men and women. It's like, that's absolutely true. And, I would even go so far as to say that maybe there have always been men and women, but what changes is how is someone a man or a woman. There's just really different ways that people have been people throughout time. And that doesn't mean that, I feel like I am in denial about what my biological body is. But what I am insisting on is that what our bodies mean is something that is in fact changeable.
So being a trans man, it's kind of hard being pregnant. I've always been a sporty, I've always been a boy, I've always been masculine. So for me to take on a feminine trait, it's hard. I had to stop taking my hormones, which I was taking every week. So that kind of reverses and rewinds your situation. When I was on hormones, my body was stronger, tougher, hairier. My voice darkened more. Once I stopped taking my testosterone and I became pregnant, my hips got wider, my buttocks got bigger. Your strength has just diminished. But you always have to remind yourself of who you are through this process. You kind of feel weird, outer body kind of. My muscles are not there's no formation, there's no ball, there's no formation, it's just all together now. There's no separation. Everything used to be separated. This is a very eerie situation, if you want to call it what it is. So weird.
At first, Memes was, just trying to explore gender nonconformity with clothes and hairstyle and posture. The physical characteristics of femininity weren't a concern. But then as one's body naturally changes at Memes' age, he started to develop the female characteristics and started to find that to be rather distressing. A bit of discomfort about the growing chest area, and then a real kind of visceral concern about menstruation. Where he was like, I think we need to start making some more changes. And I'm really scared about my body changing. And now we feel like we're really racing the clock because these female characteristics are inevitable. They're coming, they are developing. And so I was starting to feel like, oh my God, what do we do? And it just happened that I was scrolling through Instagram one day and somebody put an educational, an infographic up about puberty blockers. And I was like, what? And even just saying it, my goosebumps activated because I was like, you can block puberty? I've never heard of this before. And so I'm like next slide, and I'm swiping and swiping. I'm like, oh my God. And so then I just went to Google and I typed in puberty blocking Toronto, and then it just snowballed.
So puberty blockers are a type of medication we use in young adolescents who are seeking gender-confirming care. And I think the first thing I always tell people is that they're reversible. They work while you're taking them, and then when you stop them, they are not working anymore. And so it's sort of like giving someone breathing space. Things are progressing in a way that are really uncomfortable and distressing. We give them this medication, and it actually just stops that progression. So it gives them a moment to kind of relax, to stop having that fear that things are progressing in a way that they don't want it to.
What do you hope the puberty blockers are going to do for you?
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, give me a second. And well, what I don't want to happen is developing more feminine features. What I don't want to happen is still growing up with my more feminine voice. I want to be accepted as a boy in society's eyes. I don't really pass yet, but I can't change the world by the snap of a finger. It's not in my control.
Ich würde bei Kindern grundsätzlich nie von transsexuellen Kindern sprechen. Ein transsexuelles Kind gibt es nicht. Die meisten Betroffenen, insbesondere aber Kinder und Jugendliche, dürfen vorrangig von einer Psychotherapie profitieren. Wir wissen nämlich, dass viele Betroffene möglicherweise an einer Angststörung oder einer Depression leiden. Und da geht es im Kern ja auch um eine Fehlwahrnehmung. Die medizinisch momentan korrekte Bezeichnung ist Geschlechtsdysphorie. Das ist das eigentliche Dilemma, dass ich nicht sicher voraussagen kann, welches geschlechtsdysphorische Kind dauerhaft geschlechtsdysphorisch bleiben wird. Ich sehe das in allererster Linie als Ausdruck der Entfremdung, sich von seiner Natur zu entfremden, von sich selbst zu entfremden. Der transsexuelle Wunsch ist letztendlich ja nichts anderes, als naturgegebene Grenzen überwinden zu wollen.
No, that's not true, first of all, right? I mean, it would be a gross denial of reality to dismiss, what so many people say about themselves with great certainty. But also here's the lie, right? It's like, well, you should just be comfortable with the body you're assigned at birth. What body? A baby's body? Like, no one has the same body that they had at birth. That itself is a cultural lie. There's no such thing as an unchanging natural body. There's no natural sexed body. Everyone's body changes over time. And so to me, it just is sort of like shows how often we like to abstract questions about trans people, especially trans kids, into these weird hypothetical ethical scenarios, right? Suppose, if you will. And it's like, no, don't suppose anything. Here's a person who's sitting right here who has just told you what they need. It's not an abstract philosophical debate. You are denying another human being the basic ability to represent who they are and to access resources to live in the world. It's like denying them food and water.
See that? This might sound sweet, but it's not. Strawberry Hill is not a good area at all.
Might get shot trying to buy a bag of chips.
Look at this. Looking for a nice apartment to raise up, well, not raise, but to bring home our daughter in. I want to support my family. I want to get my family out of the hood struggle. I don't want my family to struggle no more. I went through hell and turmoil being a trans child, a trans teen, like growing up in Baltimore City. It's horrible. Oh my God, I'm really trying so hard not to cry. Like, it became like a mental thing because I knew who I was and I couldn't be who I wanted to be because of what I'm surrounded by. I was a child who transition. I know what that feels like for a child to, oh my God, to me, it's worse than an adult who wants to transition. Being a child and you knowing who you are at a very young age, you can't, an adult can. A child has to deal with that. Parent, my house, my rules, you're not doing this, and you can't do that. You can't be who you want to be in my home, and if you're going to be like this, you got to get out and things like that. So I know what it's like. I went through hell with my mom. Oh my gosh, you know how many times I was called a faggot by adults as a child? Like, even my own family, with some of my family, like, oh, would tell my mother, you know your son's a faggot. She felt like I was going to confuse her kids, and so I got put out. But I did not let that stop me, because who I am or who I am becoming and who I want to be matters more than anything on this earth, because this is my life. This is nobody else's life but mine. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. You got to kick rocks and blow bubbles, because I'm really happy with being Sade, China, you know, like I'm happy with being who I am, and I'm happy to be a mom. Like I enjoy being a woman.
One of the things that I'm often saying as a trans person is I am, you know, biologically female. I take hormones, my body has changed, I've had surgeries. That's not why I'm trans, but there's really no argument against the biologicalness of my identity. How could I separate that? We are living, breathing creatures. We are biologically alive, and so therefore everything we do is biological. But by the same token, right, people say, well, it's not natural. Most of what humans do is unnatural. You know, here I am talking to a camera and being recorded. Technology is unnatural. The clothes I'm wearing are unnatural. The language I'm speaking is unnatural. It's not a very interesting claim. Humans are able to, you know, encompass both nature and culture routinely.
Hey, you're going to experience the gender swap experiment. Amanda, you're going to have Kevin's body, and Kevin, you're going to have Amanda's body. So what is important is that you move very slowly and try to synchronize your movements with each other. What the gender swap does is that it dissolves this idea of, or this myth, that every man is an island, that every human is like a detached person, and that your boundaries are sharply defined.
It was really interesting to be like, oh, imagine this was the kind of space I took up in the world, and like imagine this was who I was, or this was my body, like what a different experience I would have.
There's an enormous potential in the experience to literally step in the shoes of another person.
You are embodying this connection between two people, and you're in this middle ground, this third space. When you see it from the outside, it might seem very binary, but when you try it, actually I think it expands, or it opens up the complexity of identity. And I think opening that up is quite important.
Wow,
Very cool.
That was so trippy. That was...
Yo creo que diversidad sexual y de género hay en todos lados, en todos los países, en todos los pueblos. Pero ¿por qué se piensa que aquí hay demasiados mushes? Aquí sí es cierto, lo hay. En cada cuadra hay uno, en cada 100 metros hay un mushe. Los ves en las calles, los ves en los mercados, en las fiestas, en las iglesias, en todos lugares están. pero creo que aquí hay más porque de alguna manera son más visibles. Pueden expresarse, pueden mostrarse sin temor de ser agredidos, sin temor de ser lastimados.
Con mi familia me llevo muy bien, gracias a Dios, porque pues tengo el apoyo de mis padres más que nada, de que con mis padres tengo una confianza, de que me aceptan tal y como soy. Con mi mamá es mi amiga, le cuento mis cosas, ella me dice cualquier detallito que yo tenga. Para ir a dejar.
Mis hijos, tengo 4 hijos, los quiero, los amo mucho, pero en especial Jonathan, porque para mí Jonathan es una bendición de Dios, porque Jonathan, o sea que es más que una niña, apoyarme como Jonathan me apoya. Inclusive yo me enfermé, el pan.
El pan. Son nada más 15.
¿Y qué van a llevar?
Señor de Esquipulas, te pido mucha salud, mucha bendición para nosotros, para mí, para mi familia, para mis hermanos. Líbranos de todo mal, de toda enfermedad. Danos misericordia, que no nos haga falta el pan de cada día. Dale más prosperidad.
Tanto la religión como la cultura mushe nos hemos adaptado. Hemos sabido coexistir y convivir en un solo lugar. Yo creo que la iglesia se ha dado cuenta de lo importante, nuestro rol, nuestra aportación en la sociedad. No todos ven esta cultura de una buena manera. En mi proceso como mushe, yo pienso que rechazaba la idea de ser una mushe completa, es decir, parecerme a una mujer o sentir como una mujer. Y ese era mi miedo cuando yo era pequeño, porque pensaba que la gente se burlaría de mí. Pero no se lo decía a nadie más, mucho menos a mi madre, porque mi madre no quería eso para mí. Que yo sufriera discriminación, que yo me quedara solo cuando yo fuera grande. Entonces, puedo decir que aquí existe un poco más de aceptación, de libertad, pero creo que nos hace falta todavía mucho para ganar una total libertad.
Hi there. I'm hoping to make an appointment for my son, please.
And what's the last name?
It's Lutman, Lutman.
Yeah, one moment. What's the reason for the appointment?
I'm calling to book our first puberty blocking appointment.
So you said puberty, right?
Puberty blockers is what they're known as.
Puberty blocking.
Yep.
Okay, is it Blocking? Sure. Now, we're going to send this message to her and somebody will give you a call back, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. We got to blaze this trail so that somebody in the future has that experience we wish we were having, where there's somebody, where the process is clear and there's somebody to guide you through. And we don't have that, but we can do this to try and make that different in the future, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't make it any easier for us, but...
No. It's not a frivolous thing. I mean, there are serious, like, mental health stakes.
Yeah.
And for a child, for a trans child to have the body that matches their identity is not small potatoes. And to just leave all these kids just waiting for an answer or for somebody to say, you know what, I got you. I'm gonna help you. I believe you. And I wanna ease your suffering here.
Yeah.
And it's unnecessary for you to have to go through a lot of these changes. We've got the science, we can do it.
It would be so easy to get knocked down and just accept one of the no's and say, well, that's how it works. I'm very aware of how much energy you've had to put into being the squeaky wheel and following up and checking on things and pushing it forward. And I'm really thankful that you're my partner in this. And I'm so, so thankful that you are there for memes in that way. You're so good at it. And I just imagine what it would be like to try and go through this whole process without someone like you playing that role and making this happen and taking care of him. So
thanks, babe.
Thanks for being that.
Yeah, thanks. Love you. I love you too. We got it. We got it.
The gender binary necessitates you choosing between two options. And those two options are never sufficient. I don't think they're sufficient for anyone, really, because there are so many ways in which we do not really adhere to this mythical norm. No one adheres to that perfectly. So already from the start, the gender binary is troubled. The gender binary, I understand it as a regime. It's a regime that necessarily disallows people to exceed it. It disallows people to be something else. And by virtue of that, it is to me inherently violent because it says what we are and what we can be and automatically disallows all the other things we might have been.
Real cool. This is how I dress. This is exactly how I dress. After I have my baby, this is gonna be me, chiseled. See that? You can just picture my head right here. You know? Just like that. Look real good. Yeah. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Bringing sexy back, literally. Literally.
So, the baby we're 8 months right now, 35 weeks. Maybe we're 35 weeks and a day. 35 weeks and a day. So my ass has been getting huge. Like, my ass is like 5 times the size that it usually is. I went from this to this. That's big. That's a big change. It's 8 months it's a long time. You know, you're pushing a year like this. You know, so it takes a toll on your mind. I find myself like crying, you know, like what's happening to your body. You know, every day I wake up, my stomach is bigger. It's like I constantly am reminding myself, you're a man, you're a man. It's like your mind just like dissipates, you know what I'm saying? You're like withering away in your mind, like what's going on? Like, was this the right decision for me to make? I'm caught up with so many things going on in my mind. Is the baby okay? Am I gonna be okay? Will things change after the baby is born? Will I snap back? Will I be able to do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm transgender, I just wanna go back to being myself. You know, and I'm very emotional. Like, I've never been so emotional like this. Where me and China stand right now, we separated. So. I'm going through a lot.
right now because I'm not on my hormones. I have a baby inside of me, and I feel like she should be more sensitive to my situation. If I wasn't pregnant, I would still be with China because I would be stronger. It's hard to walk away from somebody when you're carrying their kid. You know? It's like, I just want her to understand that, you know, like, I love her, but I love her enough to show her that she's hurting me. She's hurting the baby. Like, she's very aggressive towards me. She's very aggressive towards me because she still has in her mind that I'm this guy. I'm a guy, you know, but her mind of a guy, it's like a guy's supposed to be able to withstand a whole bunch of things. And some guys don't. You know, some guys are just not like that. I'm not that type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I came into China's life, I was always a sensitive guy. You know what I'm saying? I always was very loving. I was always laughing, happy, trying to have a good time. But I'm not a punching bag. I'm nobody's punching bag. You know what I'm saying? For me, at this point, I have to stand up for myself at some point.
I think men are really feeling vulnerable and lost and in pain. We've created this sort of monster of what it is to be a man or not be a man, and it's not a conspiracy theory, it's just what's happened. There's a disconnection between our mind, our body, and our emotions. To be emotional, to be sensitive, to be emotionally expressive is not to be a man.
So we are here at Rhinebeck, New York, and this is our men's emotional leadership training.
We've been practicing vulnerability. How many of us feel tension when we hear the word vulnerability? like everyone, right?
So we are training guys to get present with themselves and get present with their emotions so that they can then serve their communities.
Notice what pops up when someone shares something deep.
So this lack of connection primarily affects us in our primary relationships. We just don't connect. And we've seen many relationships fail because of it. They never use the word disconnection, they never use the word gender, they never use the word masculinity. They just talk about how the relationship's not working, how the life is not satisfying. And so the impact is that these men are feeling very lost, and it's systemic.
We grow up with certain ideas of how we are supposed to be. We're supposed to be fearless, powerful. We're not supposed to show weakness. We're not supposed to cry. I think there would be a lot less violence. I think there would be a lot less pain if men were willing to embrace what was going through their hearts, not just their minds, and kind of work through their own issues.
¿Qué llaman estas?
Este es media gala, galones.
Media gala, galones.
Sí, galones. Y entonces yo...
Esto no lo había visto, tipo es como tipo terciopelo,
terciopelo, ¿no? Brocado, efectivamente.
Cuando los retrato y pienso en esas historias de vida, pienso en ese coraje y en ese valor por mostrarse como son ahora. Vamos a tomar unas fotos en... Algunas personas dicen que ese es el paraíso.
Voy a quitarme mis tenis.
El paraíso queer en el mundo.
Yo te ayudo. ¿Sí?
Pero en realidad no lo es porque en general México, Latinoamérica son culturas muy machistas. Perfecto. Vamos a empezar. Yo pienso que rechazaba la idea de ser una mushe completa. Y yo pensaba que si les hablaba o convivía con ellas, yo me iba a convertir en una de ellas. Ya me voy a empezar con Sharon. Alza un poquito más el cuello. Mira, por lo menos ya no me estoy confundiendo en sus nombres. Creo que eso ya es una buena señal. A ver, ¿seguimos, chicas? Pero poco a poco nos fuimos haciendo amigos y empecé a hacer amigas mushes y las empezaba a fotografiar. Y también empezó a pasar algo en mí. En posición ahora sí que... Algo en mí estaba cambiando, algo en mí se estaba suavizando.
Bueno, lo mejor de ser mushe para mí, pues es ser yo misma, o sea, ser liberal, feliz y que nadie te detenga a hacer lo que tú quieres, ¿no? Disfrutar de la vida. Porque nosotras podemos pensar y actuar como una mujer, pero también podemos pensar y actuar como un hombre. Ese es el punto más sabroso que puedo encontrarle yo de ser mushe. Para mí no hay límites.
So while I've been waiting for an appointment time, a friend of mine reached out just last weekend with some information about a gender-affirming clinic that's here in the West End of Toronto called Connect Clinic. And it says here that the wait list is only 2 to 4 months at this time, which is kind of incredible. Like, I'm so used to everything taking forever that 2 to 4 months feels like nothing.
Wir sind in einer Zeit, die sich auszeichnet durch Entfesselung und Erweiterung des Spielraums durch Grenzüberschreitung. Seit etwa einer Dekade sehen wir einen drastischen Anstieg der minderjährigen Patienten, zum Beispiel in Großbritannien. Betrug der Anstieg der Diagnosehäufigkeit bei Minderjährigen 4.500%. Ich persönlich gehe aber auch davon aus, dass wir es hier mit einem Zeitgeistphänomen zu tun haben. Die Identifikation als trans scheint offensichtlich vor allen Dingen für junge Menschen oder für Jugendliche eine Art Sinnangebot zu sein. Und ja, ich würde mich da festlegen, dass es letztendlich nicht gut ist.
Yes, there are more people seeking gender-confirming care now. Than even compared to a few years ago. And it's something people bring to me as a worry. And I sort of say the opposite, you know, that thank goodness we're having these conversations earlier. Because I think part of the population that I'm seeing seeking gender-confirming care right now are people who are older, who have suppressed it for a long time. And so to me, that's only a positive. Like, if people are able to have these conversations at a younger age, they're likely to live happier and more productive lives. So that, to me, is a great thing, that younger people are coming forward and talking about it more.
Yeah. My name's Caitlin, and
Hi.
this is my son, Memes.
Hi.
And Memes
transitioning began about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now.
I think 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, September 2019, so 2 years ago.
Okay. That might be a bit easier. I'm 10 turning 11 in September.
Yeah, that's a big year. How are things with your school around, you know, just stuff like pronouns and all that? Do you know? Have you talked to people at Teletop?
Well, as far as I know, so far the school board has been great, but to be expected, kids are dumb.
Yeah.
I've been called slurs and yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that you've come up against so much, you know, stress with your classmates.
First thing we do is a gender history. But the second thing we do is, like, what is the context here? Like, what are the other medical things happening? What are the other psychological things happening? What are the social things happening? And there are many cases where the answer is a lot of other things are happening.
And Memes has a great therapist that he's been seeing for the past, how long? 4 months?
I think I've been talking to her since like April.
I'm wondering if I could just have a little bit more understanding of what you guys are going to be looking for medically. Like, do you have a sense of that?
You know, we understand that puberty blockers are, you know, a great way to buy some time, and they have, you know, the least, like, long-term consequences. I was familiar with gender dysphoria before Memes' experience with it. I just thought it was another way of kind of labeling or describing, you know, a gender nonconforming person's kind of internal struggle. But I have, you know, since learned that it's a specific diagnosis that I think can be pretty oppressive and limiting. Sometimes it just seems like a label that ends up staying with people and stigmatizing people and kind of labeling them as disordered or sick. You know, they are someone who needs to be fixed. And it is so bizarre to me that it's a debate. Like, there's something wrong with children who don't align with the sex they were assigned at birth. Like, it's so silly to me. Like, my child is the same kid he always was. He just has different pronouns now. And he wants to be my son instead of my daughter. Who cares? He's got the same spirit and the same heart. You know, this is just someone who needs to be supported so that they can be who they are joyfully and to be celebrated for who they are and remove all the things that, you know, impede him from being who he is. He's not sick.
No, you didn't.
We have 5 ornaments.
No, they can't. You can eat them
Give
after.
him one.
Now, ever since everything has happened, I got away. And I'm back in New York with my family. China's in Baltimore. We talk on the phone, we text, we try. You know, I would just rather co-parent if we can't fix things, or fix things.
Wow, close to me! I see it, it's over. I see it. Mixed with the baby shower.
Her mother. Family is so important to me because it's all I've had. No matter what, I've went through a lot in life. I went through a lot in 36 years of living. And the only people that have not turned their back on me is my family. You know, and I want my kids to have that sense of security.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Suffolk County, they don't.
You don't want your son, we want you.
Yo. Cool. What's the word? Oh, son.
Yeah, you should have seen when I had a leg up like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? You know what it is, boy, girl?
Girl.
Cool.
It's a girl.
All right, you got a name? The name for it?
I don't know. I'm thinking about Carly. Carly. What you think about that?
Carly sound good. What do you think about that, Kev? Carly sound good? Yeah?
Nah.
I like Nigeria.
Nigeria?
Yeah, I like that.
Nigeria?
Nah, not feeling that? Cool.
I just want a name that'll sound good on her. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So then how would you know that until you see her? You know what I'm saying? That sounds good. When you put it like that, it's like then you gotta wait to see a baby before you give her a name. Do I look like a Britney to you? Let's just, before we even do some well shit, I look like a Britney. I look like a Britney, that's my name, bro. Britney, you look like a Britney to you? Don't play with me.
So when we met, how long ago did we meet?
Had to be, you started coming here about maybe 15, 20 years ago.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a real young kid. To come to Nappies when you that young, it's really to hang out. You had good conversations with older guys. You know, you kind of learned a lot.
Almost like a second home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You come and just chill, relax.
Yeah.
You can be yourself.
It's not even phasing anybody in here. It's just like, oh, so you got a little you know? Oh, look, you got a little you know? So it made me feel good about myself. It's important to have male role models because being transgender, that's who you aspire to be, a good man. You know, like, what else can you learn from? A book? You know, like a pamphlet? There's nothing out there that's gonna tell you or guide you about how to be the characteristic of a man or portray a male figure, but being around them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a father. I don't know my father. I don't even know what he looks like. You know? But if I did have father figures in my life, it would be from this shop. You know what I'm saying? It would definitely be from these guys. That's who you would want to be.
You try to make everybody feel welcome.
Yeah. You know? How you been? How's your family? Are you staying out of trouble? Right, Smash?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like...
Yeah, I used to always tell about that. Yo, stay out of
trouble.
You know what I mean?
You know?
A lot of people probably can't understand it because it's different. But,
different, yeah.
You know, it's your life and it's your reality.
Yeah, because what I eat don't make you shit. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So it shouldn't matter.
Right.
Everybody should be able to do what they want to do in life. Everybody. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of happiness. The Giants is winning.
Score, yeah.
The Giants is winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you put that money down? Did you put that money down?
I didn't put down as much as I should have.
I'm telling you, you gotta have. Look at that, 9-0. You gotta have faith
They
in
just
these
scored.
people.
Pero ¿tú crees que se ha denigrado a la mujer por ciertos grupos o ciertos compañeros que...
Perra. Bitch. Con todo el amor que se te merece, primo. Arriba.
Bueno, usualmente yo no me he visto de mujer. Me gusta mi cuerpo como hombre. Y nunca he tenido como idea de parecer una mujer. De chico yo siempre negué hacer esto. Tenía como miedo de hacerlo. Pero siento que lo tenía que hacer en algún momento de mi vida. Quiero dejarme ir y solo hacerlo y no pensar en el qué dirán, no pensar en los prejuicios, en mis propios prejuicios, mis propias limitaciones y solo lo quiero hacer y disfrutar esa experiencia. Y lo tuve que compartir con mi madre sobre todo, porque ella no aceptaba mucho esta idea. Sin embargo, cuando yo hablé con mi mamá, en un principio fue un poco incómodo. pero estaban todos mis sobrinos, los tres, estaba mi hermana, y todos me decían, tío, hazlo, ¿por qué no lo haces? Y mi mamá, después de analizarlo por 2 minutos, ella me dijo, tienes que hacerlo bien. Entonces mi mamá arregló mi ropa, ella pegó mi holán, ella buscó todas el refajo, los accesorios, y ella era la más emocionada. Entonces, al verla a ella como hacer todo esto, preocuparse, no dormir para que yo me vea bonita, fue algo que no tiene precio, que es algo que yo esperaba durante toda mi vida, durante todos mis años de inseguridad, de sufrimiento. Creo que es el punto en el cual yo puedo decir que soy totalmente aceptado en mi casa y aceptarme a mí también. Y ahora sí, con mucho orgullo puedo decir que soy totalmente una mushi.
Okej, kommer en till något man kan åka på. 1, 2, 3. Samtidigt, då gör vi så här, gör vi då.
The way in which psychologists have studied gender and development has been to assume that there are 2 categories. They develop a questionnaire. Does your child like to wear dresses? Does your child like to play with trucks, dolls? Or you may set up a situation in which you observe children, offer them a bunch of toys, and count how many times they choose a truck versus how many times they choose a doll. Then the psychologists read from that what gender identity they think the child has. So there's quite a profound circularity in which you're taking a cultural construction, making a questionnaire out of it, then applying it to children, and then essentially forcing them to fit into that structure. So from the start, we're making this fundamental assumption that the goal of development is a set of 2 categories of male or female, and that's what successful development is. Whereas if we view development as an ongoing set of processes and in which there's a continuum of behaviors, then we're going to be seeing the world in a much less binary way.
I think that it's not up to me to decide what gender Imi is. I think that Imi can decide that for themselves. Imi doesn't get like a label from the start. I mean, I cannot control what society is doing, but what I can do is that. I don't say boy, girl, no stereotypical pink and blue, to get away from all of that. Is it a boy or a girl? I never answered that question. I always said you can choose for yourself.
Nej! Jij zit me tegen te houden, dat is niet eerlijk.
Märkvärdiga ficklampa. Hon kallade den för i. Och vidare. Alla är en självklarhet här oavsett kön.
Att den här
jag sur.
var sur.
Ja.
I think that every child from early ages, they want to do what they're supposed to do. And if you're taught that you're a girl and then they seek what is a girl, how am I supposed to be, how am I supposed to behave, and they look for it everywhere, in school, at home, in television, and they learn from that.
Hon kallade den för
what is a boy and what is a girl, and that's what we have to break.
Barnet har så god fantasi och lever i en lekvärld och de ska få göra det. Och vill de leka att de är enhörning en dag så får de vara det. Vill de vara pojke en dag och flicka en annan dag så får de vara det. Vi lägger inte så stor vikt vid att ha förväntningar kring det här utan vi vill låta barnen prova olika roller. De får gärna vara hund eller björn eller mamma eller pappa eller moster eller mormor. Precis vad de vill.
Här. Där. Perfekt. Det är också ett torn i mig. Jag har inte det. Här.
So I just got back from picking up Meems's puberty blocking meds. We have an appointment for next week for Meems's first shot. So I'm gonna go and tell him. Hi.
Hi.
So we have our first appointment.
What? When?
So how do you feel? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
A little bit of both,
Yeah.
but happy nervous.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a thing. Is happy nervous a thing?
Sure.
I laugh a lot when I'm really nervous. I don't know why I'm not laughing right now.
No. It's a pretty big deal though, huh?
One of the most important areas in talking about sex differences is actually, what do you mean by different? And people say, well, I know what different means. It means distinct. You know, what men are like this and women are like that. But if you look at the data, you can show that there's hugely overlapping scores in any particular task or any particular part of the brain you might be interested in. And it's getting to the point that we need to say, should we stop? Stop this hunt the difference agenda, because actually these two categories really don't distinguish people very well.
Scientists, when they started to study the brain and study differences between the brains of men and women, what they did is use the logic of the genitalia and impose it on the brain.
You know, whatever it is that makes males and females anatomically different also makes their brains different. And that means if you've got a lady brain, then you're good at empathy and networking. And if you've got a manly brain, then you're good at logic and reason and science, etc.
And they never tested this. So we actually were the first in 2015 to test this hypothesis. And we found that it's wrong. We looked at over 1,400 human brains, and we looked for features and brain regions that, on average, differ the most between men and women. For each of these, we marked the form more common in women in red, and the form more common in men in blue. And then we looked at every individual brain to see whether brains had only male typical or only female typical features, or had a combination of both, some features in the male form and others in the female form. And this is what we found. Humans rarely have only female typical or only male typical features in their brains, whereas brains that have a mosaic of features are very common. Most individuals will have female typical and male typical features in their brain. When we saw these results, it was like, wow, this is the end of the male and female brain myth. It's really a myth. It does not exist in the brain. We should start thinking about brains in a completely different way. Brains are mosaic, and this is how we should start thinking about them. Once we realize that each individual has a unique mosaic of brain features and unique mosaic of gender characteristics, then we can start to understand that the gender binary, which treats us as if we belong to one of two sets, that either we have a male brain or a female brain, that we are either have only masculine or only feminine characteristics, this system does harm to everyone because no one fits this gender binary. We need to move beyond the binary to appreciate each person and the uniqueness of each person, and do not judge them and do not expect things of them according to the form of their genitalia, because it's not a very good predictor at the level of the individual.
Nelson. A ver, te pongo mi bendición. En el nombre del Padre.
What I went through with China, I still love her a lot. You know, nobody's fully giving up on each other. We do have a kid coming. Nobody wants to fully give up. She's like, I'm here. This is me, and I love you, and this is what we have.
Like, when it really comes down to it, we only have each other. Like, we know that for 100% fact. Like, we are each other's backbone.
I start the first.
Yep, that's your placenta right there. That's your baby. There's the head.
Oh, pretty girl.
There's her head. There's her spine.
Con la bendición de Dios, iniciamos nuestra vela dorada.
I just think we're in a really, really exciting time. I'm really optimistic about like how this generation is going to be able to flourish and how much bigger it can get and how much more free we can all be by getting rid of the chains of expectations of how we're supposed to be and just like make the whole world more expansive. And man, wouldn't that be exciting? I think so. You ready?
You get the door. I don't. We're going at normal speed. I don't know.
Okay.
How you feeling?
All good.
Okay.
No, it's just exciting.
Yeah. And so we're gonna get your leg down, right? And you're gonna tell me. I'm gonna hold on. We're gonna do the countdown when you're ready.
Just.
Yeah. What are we going on? One.
Just do it. Just do it.
Okay. Here we go. You're done. You're in. No problem. No problem. No, that caused you no trouble at all. You did it. That was perfect. You okay?
You killed it, baby.
You did great.
I'm so proud of you.
Contractions are coming. Back to back to back to back to back to back. This is his contractions. These is his contractions. These is his contractions. You alright? I'm doing so much better, thank you. Calm down, relax, because I know you better than anybody, and you're freaking out right now. It might seem like you're calm, but you're freaking out. It's like he freaks out in the most calmest way. She's coming. She's coming.
Hej.